Hi, welcome to Crafting a Country Life. My name is Andrea. If this is your first time visiting here, I hope you enjoy what you see, and if you do, please consider subscribing to my channel. And for those of you who are returning visitors, I'm glad that you're joining me today. I really appreciate your watching my videos. And today I'm coming on to share some card making projects that I just completed using the new Sweet Miss Daisy designs by Anna White. And for those of you who may not be familiar with Anna, she has a YouTube channel and an Etsy shop, and she designs and makes beautiful stamps and other paper crafting supplies. So I purchased her two stamps here. This first one on the right here, the snowman, it's a photopolymer stamp, and it comes with several text sentiments and an additional, a music stamp over here. And I like these sets because they coordinate well with each other, but you can also mix and match them with other stamps and sets of hers, and also of other things that you may have in your stash. So this particular one, I'm just looking to see if there's a name. I don't see a name for this particular design, but I'm sure if you go on her website, you can find it easy enough. So this is the primitive snowman. And then this one here is a primitive Santa, and you can kind of see the stamp here. I just think this is adorable. He's holding a little gingerbread boy, and then there's some holly and some snowflakes and several, different sentiment stamps. So let me show you what I did. I started by stamping and embossing the image onto some watercolor cardstock that I had, because I knew that I was going to be using my watercolor paints. And then I went ahead and stamped the sentiment on there. And then, when that was all embossed and everything, I took out my paints and my watercolor paints, and I just painted in. And you can kind of see what I used for the colorways on this. And then after that, I went back through my stash of papers and coordinated some solids and prints to kind of go with it. I did a little distressing with, I think it's Worn Lipstick, the Distress Oxide inks by Tim Holtz. And then, of course, the buttons are on there. And then on the inside, I just put, another sentiment. So this is the first one, okay? And then I wanted to point out that, well, I should probably show you the paint sets that I used, but it might be a little hard to see on the camera, but do you see how the wings and the face are kind of shimmery? And even the little crown of holly up there is shimmery. So for those paints, what I used was this set here. This is a metallic watercolor paint set by Magic Fly, and I've had this for a few years, and I love it. It's a nice quality set, and it has a dark color card that I haven't filled this one in yet, but you can go ahead and put samples on the dark. I did do the light sample set. That way, when you open up the box, you can just kind of take a quick look at these to see what they're going to look like on paper before you choose which one you want to use. And they're all kind of iridescent and sparkly, which doesn't really show up that well on the camera too well. You can see it a little bit there, but the colors are gorgeous. They're rich. You can water them down to make them paler or intensify them by using less water. And this is the color palette that it comes with. And every one of them is metallic. And there's so many, and they're all beautiful. So I used, I think it was this pink one here on her wings to give them some sort of a shimmery effect. Okay, so I used that in combination with my Winsor Newton set. And this is sort of my workhorse. I take this, it's a small half pan set. I usually take this when I go out hiking, if I'm in an area where I want to do some sketching or something, or on vacation, I'll tuck it into my bag of art supplies. And it has all the basic colors. There's ultramarine blue, and some of the other basics, your cadmiums and your your warmer colors, and then your paler, more translucent colors as well. So it's a great palette. So I used that in combination with the metallics, and then I think I used, remembering right, I also used a little bit of I think I used this purple on the snowman here. And this is like a pastel set of basic watercolors. And this one is by Prima. This is the vintage pastel set. They have a couple of different sets, so I got the pastels and used that. So between these 3 pan sets, I was able to, complete the watercoloring. So again, this is the first one, okay? And this is the second one here. And again, this is the metallic white paint that I used on his beard and on the bell, star, and coat, the metallic white. And it really does shimmer nicely in person. A little hard to see on the camera, but as I said. So, and then, just use the paints to kind of color in. And then I coordinated the buttons and so on to go with the colors in the papers that I chose. Here's the interior. Okay, and the last one here, again, using Anna White's beautiful photopolymer stamps. These are just the cutest darn things. I love her, her primitive style. And then it's just a little button there. So this I used the soot, I think it's called black soot, to do the distressing around the edge. And then I used my my marking gauge, my sewing marking wheel to create these little stitch marks. It's hard to see, on the camera, but there's little stitch holes going around the edge of the watercolor paper. So that's the last one there, and here's the interior. And I just wanted to also just make a note that I just recently got these labels, and I'm not really savvy with the computer. I know a lot of people make their own labels, but I ordered these through Current Catalog online, and they had a buy one get one sale over the summer. So I chose this pattern, and let me show you. It was a buy one set, get one set. So I ended up with 288 labels for the price of 144 basically. And this is the pattern that I chose. So there's a few different choices in there. And then I can just put these on the back of some of my artwork. It has my name, my YouTube handle, and my Instagram, and then I just put handcrafted with care underneath. So that's what they look like. Yeah, so, and they did have some other styles there. Some were not on sale, some were. You just have to kind of look. The shipping was a little high, but I think for this whole package I paid $15. And it was like $5 for the stickers, and then I guess it was about $10 or so to ship, which seems a little much, but in any event, yeah, I'm really happy with these. So that was a good solution for me to get some stickers for my work. Okay, so those are the cards that I finished up, and I also wanted to share a sewing project that I finished up not too long ago. It's a really fun little drawstring bag, and it's a small size. I did not buy a pattern for this. I just drafted my own pattern using paper, and so you can see that it kind of, I have my sock knitting in there for my Christmas sock yarn. I'm going to start a pair of Christmas socks using this wool, which I absolutely love. And it's fully lined. And then I interlined it with warm and natural quilt batting. And then just sewed on the drawstring header, the casing on the top. But it's made of two different colors, the white, and then of course I use this Hobby Lobby gingerbread fabric here. And there's sort of like a house shape. The pattern piece that I drafted is sort of like a house shape. So it's got the roof point, and then it's the square on the bottom. And then you just join those all together, do the same thing with your 4 lining pieces, And then I just added a lining, you know, an interlining inside or an interfacing to give it just a little bit of softness and body. But I'm really pleased with it, and I like the size of it. And I'm thinking I may make some more of these and make some of them a little bit taller, you know, for bigger knitting projects or sewing projects or what have you. So I will keep you updated on that, the progress on that, and we'll see where we end up with it. But yeah, so that I just finished up recently, and I just love it. It's just so cute. This is a cute little grab and go project. You know, you can just take it if you're on your way out the door and you're expecting to have some time to do a little handwork or something. It's just a nice handy size. So that is all finished up. And the other thing that I wanted to mention before I sign off is that I have these Hobby Lobby envelopes. They come in a package. I think there's 10 in a package for $9 or so, at least when I bought them a couple years ago. The prices may have gone up since then. But I like to keep these clear envelopes in sets. So this is my pastel set here, and I have this. I use most of these for Christmas crafting, and then I have another envelope that I keep vintage. These are mostly scraps, you know. But by keeping them all together in one place like this, you know, if I work on a project and I have scraps, I just shove them in to the envelope, and then I've already got a nice big envelope preset with coordinating scraps that all kind of go together, and I can sift through these when I pull out the papers another time. Here's another one. Now this is just like spring and summer vintage. So there's some text pages in there, some little vintage style images and papers. Also some papers in here that I've kind of collaged together and done some crumpling and done some other paint treatments too, as well as some printables some digitals that I've, printed off, some old music paper and other, vintage style things for spring and summer. So that's that. And then this other one that I just happen to have handy as well is my traditional Christmas colors scrap envelope. So this one has lots of greens, reds, there's sparkle, there's foil, some plaids, some glitter, and there's even a little bit of some like sagey green and white and cream and so on. So again, this has been really handy. I just kind of file these on my shelf in the corner there, and they come in really handy when I'm ready to just do a quick project. I also have some other boxes that I keep stashed underneath my work table, and these also contain scraps, but these are, smaller, and they're not coordinated. I just throw all my smaller scraps into these tubs, and then I'll label them with what's inside and keep them right under my work table, and I can grab them whenever I need some smaller scraps. Because, sometimes you don't want to cut into a brand new 12 by 12 inch piece of paper if you only need something that's 2 inches wide or what have you. So anyway, I just thought I would share some of my storage systems. If you have any other ideas or ways that you like to store your materials, please, leave a comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear how other folks like to handle that sort of thing. I am going to be posting this video to the hashtag SatMornMakes, which is an open art collaboration hosted by Jillian Norwood over at Greenwood Girl Cards. And if you haven't heard about that, you're certainly welcome to go and check out the hashtag or go and check out Jill's channel and find out how to go about posting. You can certainly work on projects of any type during the week, any day of the week that works for you, and upload them and share them with the community that has been posting for a number of years now on Jill's great crafting channel. So take care. Thank you again for watching, and I'll be back again soon. Bye for now.